Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dhamma friends, we were learning the Majjhima Nikaya, Middle Length Discourses, Majjhima Nikaya, and Sutta number 12, Mahāsīhanādasutta. Last week, we start to discuss upon this. In this sutta, the Supreme Buddha has beautifully explained the great qualities of Buddha. He has mentioned, the sutta begin like this. I will give you the little bit of briefing of it. There was one person called Sunakata. He was previously ordained. He was a monk. He disrobed and he started to spread these words saying this, that the Supreme Buddha does not have any supernatural ability. He just have great way, means tarka. Tarka, it means logic. He utilized the logic to teach his Dhamma, and what he thinks suitable for this, he will explain. What he has seen here today, based on that, he teaches his teaching, and whoever practice his teaching, they are going to finish, or they are able to finish their all the bad, this journey of samsara. They will be enlightened. Such a way he started to say that Buddha does not have any supernatural knowledge, divine something, nothing like this. So Sariputta Bhante heard this thing, that okay, this person is saying those words for Supreme Buddha. He went to the Buddha, Supreme Sariputta Bhante, and asked Bhante, this Sunakata is spreading rumor like this. Buddha says, this Sunakata is a little bit angry. This foolish person have anger toward Buddha, and that's why he's spreading. But as he's saying these words, in a way, he is praising the Buddha, that Buddha utilized the logic to preach the Dhamma, and he explains what is understandable, his thinking through that, and what is he has realized something here, express his own perspective, and whatever he teaches, people follows and they become enlightened. He mentioned that much. So Buddha says that is the thing he's praising about. And furthermore, Buddha says there is a 10 great qualities that Supreme Buddha has. With these great 10 qualities, people go to the assembly, Supreme Buddha go to assembly, and he take the place of bull, do the lion's roar, and turn the wheel of Dhamma. So the 10 qualities last week we understand. Buddha says even after knowing these 10 qualities, because Sunakata did not understand that properly. So knowing these qualities, if someone say this thing that Buddha does not have the supernatural ability toward Dhamma or uh, superhuman or distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of noble ones. So if doesn't have that view, if this person does not live, he will go to the bad destination of hell. And the first person with the virtue and this, they are going to the Sukati. Buddha says there are four supreme knowledge, you know, the proper knowledge the Buddha has. So with that knowledge, with this knowledge, Buddha turns the will of Dhamma, and he mentioned that also. Visharada Jnana. So up to this much we learned last week, and now we're going to learn the furthermore. Supreme Buddha mentioned here, Atthako ima Sariputta parisa. Sariputta, these are 8 assemblies. What 8? Khattiya parisa, Brahmana parisa, Gahapati parisa, Samana parisa, Chatum Maharajika parisa, Tavatinsa parisa, Mara parisa, and Brahma parisa. These are great 8 assemblies are those. Khattiya, it means the warrior clan that we have, the aristocrats, you can say. Brahmins, they have also the gathering. Gahapati, who take care of entire kingdom in a way by earning the wealth, growing, giving the growth to the country. So the Gahapati Parisa. Samana Parisa, the monks or wanderers, whoever they are gathering together, they are Chatum Maharajik Parisa. So there are 4 great the directional deities. So their assembly is also very great one. Tavatinsa Parisa, where is a 33 deities stays, and that is the one great assembly is there where the god Sakka resided. Mara Parisa, so the great army of Mara also has his own assembly, and the Brahma Parisa, the assemblies of Brahmas. So these are the 8 assemblies happens. Buddha says, Imehi ko sariputta chatuhi vesarajyehi samannagato tathagato ima atta parisa upasankamati ajjogahati. Buddha says, the Supreme Buddha, possessing this 4 kind of self-assurance, the Vesaraja Jnana, with this power, Supreme Buddha goes to these 8 assemblies and Abhijanamiko Panah Sariputta Aneka Satang Khattiya Parisang Upasankamitva. That I recall having approached an assembly of hundreds of aristocrats, and Tatrapi Maya Sannisinna Pubbecheva Salla Pitapubbancha Sakachacha Samapachita. Buddha says that I have, when he visits in those assemblies, he sit down, converse, engage in their discussions, Tatra vatamang bhayang va sarajjang va okkamisati nimittametang sariputta na samanupasami. It is a common thing, like if you are a new person in someone else's place, like time to time in our class, new people join us and they have a little bit doubt what they're going to learn. Is it will be going to their according to what they have thought, or when we ask, okay, any questions are there? So little bit doubt, should I ask or not? That little bit fear is there. Any place you go, people feel uncomfortable to directly immediately talk. So the Buddha says, I have visited where the hundreds of aristocrats or Khattiyas are there. And in that moment, I see that there is no fear in me. Means, yes, usually people get frightened, but there is no fear. I never saw a single moment that I'm worried, I am afraid or insecure. Such a thing I have never seen in me. The Buddha says, Eva mahang sariputta nimittang asamanupasatto hemapatto abhayapatto vesarajapatto viha. In those things, in those, that is one reason, because of I have this self-assurance, that is the reason throughout I don't see any reason to live in means fear or anything. I am secure, fearless, and assured about my own. Supreme Buddha gave the same thing in for the different assemblies. So wherever the Buddha goes, wherever the assemblies he participate, he said that I never see any fear in me. I am self-assured, fearless. Why is the reason? Because the Buddha has those qualities which makes him not to fear in anything. Usually, from fearness it comes, that not knowing what is happening there, not knowing what the circumstances are, and Buddha has conquered that all of that. Then Supreme Buddha said furthermore, the person, you know, uh, Yoko mang sariputta evang janantam, evang pasantam, evang vadeyam. Even after knowing this, that the Buddha is fearless in all these places, knowing that if the person says the Natti Samanasa Gautama, that the Supreme Buddha does not have this great knowledge, does not have this what supreme distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of noble ones, such a thing does the Buddha does not possess, and only he teaches the Dhamma with the uh, logic and what he understands in here, what he thinks suitable, that he teaches. If the person does not leave that view, then he will fall into the bad destination of hell. The Buddha mentioned there. Furthermore, Buddha explained, Chatasso ko ima sariputta yonyo. Sariputta, these are 4 kinds of reproduction. There are 4 ways the beings are born, not only humans. Beings are born, and we are one of that. What 4? Andaja yoni, Jalabhuja yoni, Sansedaja yoni, Opapatika yoni. The 4 ways of reproduction. One is called Andaja, the creature or animal born from an egg. That is one. Second one is from womb. Jalabhuja, it means womb. Sansedaja, it means from moisture. Opapatika, it means spontaneous birth. Katamacha Sariputta and Dajayuni. Supreme Buddha explained about what is the birth of egg, and he said that ye khote Sariputta satta andakosa abhinibhijata jayanti ayanguchati. So the beings are born from the eggshell, breaking out of eggshell and coming out, that is called the Andajayoni. So we see the birds, all kind of birds are born. Some of the lizards, snakes, they have the eggs there. So their kids, what they do, they break the shell and they come out. That is called the birth of Andaja. Jalabhuja, it means inside the mother's womb, what happened? In the water, in the liquid, they grow there entirely, and when the time comes, they come outside of the womb. So in a way, there is a path, so they come outside. That is called Jalabhuja. So the water breaking, that is happen in all the animals, means humans also, the cow, the animal kingdom, lot of animals have those. Then Sansedaja. Sansedaja, it means when there is a moisture, some of the time we see where is the heat and the cold which comes together, and then they become the humid. From there, the creature get birth. Like there are beings who are born in rotten fish, rotten carcasses, you know, rotten door, and in different places. They are born just because of mortuary is there. No need for any other birth there. Then further, Supreme Buddha mentioned Opapatika Yoni. What is the spontaneous birth? So, in the spontaneous birth, there are heavenly beings. There are beings who born into the hell. Some of the time, there are human also, and who are falling in four bad destination. So, these are the places the person born into the uh, Opapatika or spontaneous birth. We see in heavenly world, there is no mother's womb, there is no eggshell, there is no sunset. According to their karma, from passing away from here, and the same moment they born into those places. Even in hell also, there doesn't need a second to born there. Even in ghost world also, they don't need to, like usually we say, after passing away, the usually people say, no, there is a soul and it will linger there with the body that trying to coming back. It doesn't happen like this. As we passed away from here, in a second that we are born in some different place, later it only remains the body. Okay, so when in a ghost world, if someone born and that person is close to the body, he thinks like that, I haven't born yet. That is his, because he doesn't understand properly that I have passed away. That's why people think like, okay, the body and the other people or the soul lingers there. But it's not true. Usually after passing, immediately they take birth in a different places. Some goes to the hell, some goes to the heavenly world. Some of the time, there are human beings. They also get the spontaneous birth. And all the realm of lower world, like Titan's world, they also have the ghost world. They also have this spontaneous birth. So these four birth, Supreme Buddha says, even if someone know that these things regarding Supreme Buddha and say these things that Buddha does not have distinction in knowledge and vision worthy of noble ones, such a person, if doesn't lose that view, he will go to the hell. Means knowing these all qualities, that Supreme Buddha has these 10 powers, Supreme Buddha has these four uh, assurance, Supreme Buddha has the knowledge of these people, how they are born, the birth, these great assemblies, this knowledge Supreme Buddha has. So he's a fearless. And even knowing these things, if someone say that Buddha does not have this ability, does not have the strength to say those things, he just speak the Dhamma only and only based on his logic, what he understand, what he thinks of, and what he has taken the experience. Throughout that he speaks. This person is, if doesn't lose that view, he will be born to the bad destination. Then furthermore, Supreme Buddha mentioned here, Panchaima Sariputta Gatiyo. There are Sariputta, there are 5 destinations. People go into the 5 destinations. Katama Pancha, what 5? Nirayo, there is a hell. Tirachana Yonyo, the animal realm. Petti Visayo, the ghost world. Manusa, the human world. And Deva, the heavenly world. These are the 5 Gati. These are 5 realms where people born. Supreme Buddha says, Nirayangcha Sariputta Pajanami, Nirayagamingcha Maggam, Nirayagamingcha Patipadan. Supreme Buddha said, I understand how, I understand the hell. And he said that I know very well what is the hell is. I know what path leads to hell. And I know which practice also leads to hell. That thing Supreme Buddha mentioned. यथा पटिपन्नो च कायस्य भेदा परं मरण अपायं दुर्गतिं विनिपातं निरयं उपपज्यति तं च पजानाति. What path he practiced, that way after passing away this person born to this hell, I understand that also. Supreme Buddha said, I know what very well what is the, I mean, how someone born. It means I understand what is the Tirachana Yoni, the animal realm. I have understand. I know what the path is to go there, and I know what practice will take person. I understand that person, what he took the path, what the practices he is doing, this will take him to this animal realm. I understand that very well. I understand these are the ghost, this is the ghost world, what path it leads to there, and what practices takes us to the ghost world. I truly realized properly that if someone is walking on this path, doing this person will go after the breakup of this body to this ghost world. I realized that also. This is the human world. I understand what is the human world is. I know where how the person what path leads to the human world and what practices will bring us to the human world. Understand that. The person who are walking on the one path, I can see or I can understand that this path is leading his life toward rebirth in human life. I understand that entirely. I understand these are the heavenly world. This is the path to heaven. This is the path, this is the practice which leads to the heaven. Supreme Buddha says that I understand very well that this practice will take this person to the heavenly world. And then furthermore, Supreme Buddha says, Nibbanang cha Sariputta. Enlightenment also, Sariputta, I understand fully. Pajanavi Nibbana Gaming cha Maggang. I know very well what is the path leads to the enlightenment. Nibbana Gaminang cha Patipadam. I know what practice will lead to the extinguishment, enlightenment. Yathako Patipanno, when person practices this path, Asavanang Kaya Anasavam Cheto Vimukti Panya Vimukti. By practicing this path, this person is that way he realize and liberated from this very life by getting rid of all the hatred, finishing all the tents in a way, all the dirts, and purified himself. And then in this very life, he realized this path and live happily, or finishing off all the ending of defilements, suffering, he lives here. Furthermore, Supreme Buddha says to Sariputta, Idaham Sariputta, Ekajang Puggalang Evang Chetasa Cheto Pajanami. Sariputta, I have comprehended the mind of the certain person. I understand. Tathayang Puggalo Patipanno Tathacha Iriyati Tangchamaggang Samarullo. I see that person from my mind. I see to another person's, and I understand what this person is walking on the path, which path he has taken. By walking on that path, after the breakup of the body, he will be born to the hell. I see that. Tamena passami aparena samayena dibbena chakuna visuddhena atikkandamanusakena kayasapedapana. So on that time, I see him as he walked on this path, and with a divine eye that this person has really gone to the hell and suffering in that very well, suffering there in that hell. Ekanta dukkha tibba katuka vedana vedaya mana. What is the this hell is, the bad place, and he has a painful feeling, sharp and severe feelings he are feeling in that moment. Supreme Buddha says, he gave the beautiful example as there is a very huge pit of coal glowing completely red, deep in the means someone has digged a very big hole into the earth, and in there he feels the all the charcoal, and they are brightly, lighting brightly, the red color is coming from there, and someone, one person who is very tired, who is uh, faded with the, with the heat and with the thirst, he's there, and he's walking on the path of that where is the pit is. If the person who has another person who has a simple eye, he sees that this person is very tired and thirsty, and suffering, that he's walking on the path where the pit is. The person sees that this person walked there and he is there in the same way. Like usually we see that, okay, this path leads to there, and we understand this person go, and it is in simple way you can say Buddha gave the answer. Some of the times there are a lot of dead end on the path, and who is living on that such a street, they see the person drive there, and they see that he has took the wrong path, and this person says if he goes there he has to turn back. Some of the time you may have noticed in that those in there people smile. Some of the time they guide, okay, don't go, that is a dead end. Some of the time the board is not visible, and this person sees, okay, he is going there, he will go and stop there, he will turn and coming back. In the same way, the Buddha gave the example, I also see this person is walking on the path which leads to the hell. And so he gave the example of the hell as like that burning charcoal in the pit. He said like this. Supreme Buddha gave in the same way that I also see that thing. That is called being born to the hell. Supreme Buddha furthermore said, there is a path, there is a person I see from my mind, I confirmed it from mind to another person's, and tathayang puggalo patipanno tathacha iriyati tangchis samarullo. Such a person, he is walking on the path, his practices also regarding this, which leads to the animal world. And as his practice, after his practice is there, I see him by my divine eye that this person has died from the breakup from this body here, and be born into the animal realm, in animal world. And dukkha tibba katuka vedana vedemana. And I see him suffering in that suffering there, the suffering, painful feelings, sharp and severe feeling are there. I can see this person is facing that. Supreme Buddha explained in that way. He said there is a pit filled with the what we call the blime and feces. Lot of dirt is there, and someone who are very tired, thirsty, faded, tired, very severely. Such a person is walking on that path, and he see that he has come to that place, or maybe fall into there, and person is suffering there. Buddha says, as a person who has eyes who can see that, in the same way with the divine eye, I also see this person is born there and suffering in the animal world. Next one, Buddha says that I see the person that after passing away from here, he born to the ghost world. As a simply, Buddha gave the example. The person is walking in the desert. There is a one tree, but doesn't have any leaves or anything. There is nothing. It's very dry places, nothing is there. And I see this person, what path he took, what practices he's doing. After breakup of this body, he born to such a place, and I can see his suffering there. In a simple way, the Buddha says, in a person who is very tired and thirsty and faded a lot, such a person who's walking on the path which leads to desert, where there is no shelter or anything. That is the person who has eyes. He can see, okay, this path will leads to desert, and this person is walking there. In a simple way, he will end up there. In the same way, I also see in the divine eye, uh, beyond the human's eye, that this person's practice is taking him to the ghost world. Buddha says that eyes can see this person is took the path which will lead him toward the human world. Again, be born to the human world. And as I have seen, this person walked on the path and really understand this, really born to the human world. Buddha says there is a one person who is very tired, thirsty, and he is walking, you know, he's going into that direction. Where is a beautiful pond is there, and there is a ground is there. There is a lot of trees grown, and comfort, the shelter is there. So in that time, uh, the person who is very tired, he goes there, he stays there, and feels little bit comfort. You know, he says. So the person see him to walk that place, he will say, okay, this tired person now he can ease himself there. Same way Buddha said, I understand the path which leads to the human world. In the heavenly world also, Buddha says the same way. Buddha says there is a beautiful pond, and there is a lot of water, lilies, all kind of food is there, and the person is very tired, uh, very thirsty. He can go into the pond, he can wash himself, clean himself, get rid of all the fatigue, tiredness, drink the water, and come outside. Whatever the food is there, he can consume and sleep under the tree with very comfort. Person who is on that path, see the another person is going toward that direction, he understand, okay, this will go, and he will have the comfortable. He will be getting rid of his tiredness. Buddha says, I also see the same way, that beings are born in the world in that. The Buddha says, furthermore, I have seen. That is about the Brahma world. Okay. For the heavenly world, there is no beautiful pond, but for the Brahma world, there is a pond, and that person in the Brahma world, that is a water. Only the trees, different trees, lot of food, and heavenly world is there. Supreme Buddha said in the Brahma world also same. Furthermore, Supreme Buddha said to Sariputta, the Buddha have this all the knowledge, what he explained now here. Knowing this, that Supreme Buddha possesses this knowledge, even though after knowing this all things, he says that Buddha does not have the distinguished knowledge, vision worthy of noble one, Mahāsīhanādasutta, and he teaches only with the Dhamma, only by the practice of his logic and his understanding or his thought. Such a view, if he doesn't leave, such a view he does not give up, he will be born to the hell, the Buddha says. Supreme Buddha says furthermore, Abhijanami kopana sariputta chaturanga samannāgatang brahmacharyang charita tapassi sudanghomi parama tapassi. Now, the Buddha has mentioned here that how harshful practices he has done in this world. This will be this one. When you read the book, you will understand more properly. In India, these are practices still happening, not in this severity, but still happening. Buddha says all of this, the harsh practices I have done. I have done the tapasya suddhan, giving himself a lot of suffering, and that I have given. If someone say the suffering, giving pain to your body will liberate you, Buddha says there is no another person who has given pain to their own body like me. Say Supreme Buddha says if someone is, a very rough life someone has to live, I don't see anyone else has live his life rougher than Supreme Buddha. Uh, in this various way Buddha has mentioned here. Means he has used the practices which is unbelievable. He has done the, consumed the food and with a lot of different things. So read it carefully. Okay, it is better to read than explain. Uh, in here, what is the here is mentioning? Why the Buddha is? It is the answer here. Why the Buddha says there's a middle path is needed for enlightenment. In his first Dhamma discourses, Buddha explained the person who want to liberate should not take the very comfortable life, kama sukhalli kanu yoga, enjoying in all the wealth and that. It is not the path for liberation, or not the path to starve himself or give the suffering. You know, atta kilamatanu yoga. That is also not path to the enlightenment. But the path of enlightenment is the middle path, not to suffer a lot or not to comfort, but take in the middle path so you can finish the suffering. Why Buddha said? He was a prince. He has seen all the comfort. Means it is mentioned there in the rainy season he has another palace. In the winter he take another palace. In the summertime he has another palace. He has never seen in his life from the young infancy up to he's very young that person is getting old. He doesn't know. He never seen. He has seen only and only comfort. Whatever he wishes, that is there is a present in his palace. That much of comfort he has seen. So that's why Buddha says this comfort, if the comfort is a thing which gives the enlightenment, then I have seen that. I was not able to attain that enlightenment. Buddha says, I have suffered a lot in this very life. There is a 6 years of, harsh practices Buddha did. In this India, there is a says, with the person who possesses the 32, but this Mahapurush Lakshana, the divine marks on their body, such a person is very meritorious. With the simple small things he can achieve, he can succeed in his life. He is worthy of being king. And such a person is practicing harsh training in his life. Whatever he wants, he can achieve. But the harsh training was not the path of enlightenment. It was not. It is. And what kind of harsh practices he did, it is mentioned here. He said, people are there in the country who does not take food from the pregnant woman or who's a breastfeeding woman or who is eating something and then giving to offer. No, they have their own way of practice. The people, the wanderers who beg for food, they said, okay, this is there, I will not take. Buddha said, before I become a Buddha, I have done those also. It did not happen. Imagine the person in very young age, he was sitting under the tree. He was not enlightened. He was sitting. And in that time, he attended first jhana, second jhana, third jhana. When he was a young, after he left the home and become a monk, as a Buddha become a monk, that time also he visited couple of teachers. And he attended what they were teaching. So all the jhanas he had that jhanas to Atta Samapatti, what we call. Those things he had that before. Alar Kala, Mudakramputa, they taught him this. And those were not the path of enlightenment. Then someone said, okay, you punish yourself and then you can become enlightened. He did those also. and the enlightenment did not come. Like now these days, the Kumbh is happening in India. It's the world news. Like hundred thousands of people or billions of people, millions of people will come and they will wash their sins in the Ganges. Buddha says, I have tried to wash my sins also. In the very harsh winter, I stayed in the water. In very harsh summer, I stayed in the heat. You know, I have given the pain to this body for the enlightenment. It never came. It never came. I have wore the robes which were not common, like very different. I have eaten the food which is not suitable for the human life. If we say those words, we will laugh. Okay, what foolish practices. But for the enlightenment, people did those things. And still the people are doing that thing also very differently, very differently. Now, there are things. If you wear the robe, you will be enlightened. Still, these wrong views are still exist in India, still exist. And Buddha says, I have tried everything before become a Buddha, and I see not a single person, not a single practice which leads me there. Not a single thing. Very harsh practices Buddha has done. Very harsh. Buddha says that I was thinking one day that I do not want to see a person, living person, like deers. Now that it is common that the deer come to the human, but earlier time, when the deer see the person, they run into the forest. Same way I live my life. On months, I have not seen a single human being. When I see that the scent of human is also coming from that direction, I change my direction to deeper wood. For what? Not to see the another living being. Such a harsh treatment I have done. Isolation. If someone say with the isolation, someone become enlightened, I did that much of isolation. Not answer of that. With the food, with the isolation, anyway, with the starving, with the wearing the robes, if someone can become, Buddha says, I have tried all these things and not a single thing which gives me. Starving, Buddha says, people say this by starving it happens. So I started to eat the food only the amount of grain. I will consume that one grain and I will say I am finished. You see, there is a lot of pictures of Buddha, which he's become a entirely skeleton. He said, if I touch to my belly, my hand will touch to backbone, spine. It is such a starving was happened there also. He has done that, and not a single one leads him toward the enlightenment. Supreme Buddha says, these harsh practices which not lead me to the end of suffering. Buddha says, Santikopana Sariputta, Eke Samana Brahmana, Evam Vadino, Evam Ditchino. Sariputta, there are some certain Samana Brahmanas, as they say, Sansara Suddhiti. This is the purification of life from the sansara. Nakopanaso Sariputta Sansaro Sulabha Rupo So Maya Asamsarita Bapubbo Imina Dighena Adhuna Anyatra Suddhavasehi Devehi. In this world, if someone say that this Sansara Suddhi, the purification of the life is there, that the Sariputta, the best comfortable life I have seen in the Suddhavasa deities, I have visited there a lot. If being born into such a place, someone cannot enlighten, I have done that also. But Suddhavase Chang Sariputta Deve Sansareya Naimang Loke Punaragacheya. If that is true, then I would not have come from Suddhavasa back to the human world. If that is possible, it is not. all the life, means the most comfortable life, the purification of that, it comes from there. The Suddhavasa's life is the greatest one. I would have stayed there. I would not have come down. Santikopana Sariputta eke Samana Brahmana, even Vadino, even Ditino Sariputta, these Samana Brahmanas have these things, their thoughts that Upapattiya Suddhiti, by birth, there is a purification. Hmm? Go a little bit more further. Down, go a little bit more down. These are all the practices. Here, here. Yeah. So, Upapatti by birth. Then I have seen the Suddhavasa Devata has that great birth. Supreme Buddha says, if that is true, then I would have been born in Suddhavasa and I would not have come down. Naimang lokang punaragacheya, not coming back. Sorry, others have these things. Avasena suddhingi, by residing and staying, sheltering, then that is the sutta, that is purification is there in that. Nakhopana sariputta sulava rupo. There is no shelter, or there is no staying, there is no residence better in Suddhavasa. Means the highest realm of comfort, to be born, have the comfortable life, shelter, everything. It is great in there. I do not see that if that is true, if there is no suffering, then I would not have come down here. Even that life also Buddha has experienced in his past lives. Then Supreme Buddha says, there are some Samana Brahmana have this thought and have this view that Yanyena Suddhi, if someone do the home yagya, there is a one ritual where the fire is burning and people put the ghee oil there. You may have seen in a couple of Indian weddings, something like this, or some of the rituals. It is, Supreme Buddha says, such a fire sacrifice or those things, what I have done, yajna or purity comes from the sacrifice. Then, while I was being born into the what it called aristocrat families, which with a great wealth, the Brahmin families or the wealthy families, I have done in the countless number of that. The purity does not come from the yagyas. Agiparicarya Sutti. If someone is there, there is a purification come from the sacrifice in flame, the worshipping the flame. Supreme Buddha says, in a long journey of samsara, I have done in various ways, millions of times in a way. If that is possible, by worshipping the flames, you can purify yourself, then I would not have born again. I have practiced that also. It doesn't come. The purity doesn't come from that. In here, Supreme Buddha mentioned, Santikopana Sariputta eke Samana Brahmana, evam Vadino, evam Ditino. There are some of the Samana Brahmanas, they have this view. Yavadevam Bhavang Puriso Dharo Hoti Yuva Susukala Keso Bhadrena Yobbanena Samanagato Patamena Vayasa Tavadeva Paramena Panya Vettiyena Samanagato Hoti. There is a person who be born and slowly he become a young, which comes with the age, and then that person gets life. He has endowed with the path of perfect lucidity of wisdom. Yatocha ko ayang bhavang puriso jinno hoti buddho mahallako. This same person becomes, he gets old, elderly, senior, advanced in years, and he has reached his final stage of life, 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, whatever the years are there, he is there. Atha tamma panya veyatya parihayanti, that he will lose his wisdom of that. It's true. You see how the Buddha is explaining, uh, our knowledge grow with our, as we are young, we are everything, from the age of 3, we remember a lot of things, we grasp a lot. In a short time of period, we learn languages, vocabulary is vast. And as we become a young, lot of good knowledge has captured in us. But as we get old, what happened to those? We started to forget the worldly knowledge. We don't remember the words, we don't remember the lot of conversations, what is happening. So that we lose with the age. So this commonly knowledge we earn from the study, and that it is not the knowledge which is needed for enlightenment. That is not the way to look at this. Ahankopana sariputta etarahi jinno buddho mahallako. His Supreme Buddha said, I am also very old. Um, I am also, means the person should not see like that. Just a worldly knowledge is fed up with the age or said that worldly knowledge can be, but what the Buddha understand, it is not. His wisdom, his knowledge is a far superior, and that it will not finish or extinguish with the life or age. Buddha says, I am also very old. I am also attained the last 80 years of that, and my disciples also, some of that. Suppose Buddha says, give that I have the disciples whose lifetime is 100 years, but they are with a perfect memory and range. Means Buddha is saying with the knowledge here, it is commonly it is mentioned that person loses his mind when he's old, but it is not the thing in the Dhamma. It is can be seen as the Buddha is there. His disciples is older than him, but they are still remembers. They have still all the practices there. Supreme Buddha explained, Temang Chatunang Satipatthānang Upada. They have practiced the four foundation of mindfulness, and the Dhamma, what they have done, what the practices they have practiced in this life, the enlightenment, what they have achieved, this is the things which gives them the wisdom, it is mentioned in there. Buddha gave the another thing is here also, that apart from, when Buddha start to explain his wisdom and knowledge, apart from this couple of places like uh, eating, sleeping, going to the washroom, uh, or uh, this worldly things he is doing. Apart from that, if Tathagata uh, gives the teaching or Dhamma explanation, his then his all four Savakas will passed away, but his explanation of wisdom of Buddha will not be completely explained in that moment also. Such a great, vast knowledge the Buddha possesses. Sariputta, Yankotang Sariputta Samma Vadamano Vadeyang. If someone want to say in a true way, Asammoha Dhammo Satto Loke Uppano Bahujana Hitaya Bahujana Sukhaya Lokanukampaya. If someone born into this world for the uh, greatness of, for happiness of many, you know, uh, to give the compassion for the many, welfare of and happiness for others. Uh, Attai Hitai Sukhai Dev Manusanam says he born to this world out of sympathy uh, for the benefit, welfare, and happiness of gods and humans. So they will say that words for the Supreme Buddha, that the Buddha is the one who born in this world for the happiness of many. Tenakopana samayena ayasma naga samalo bhagavato pittito hoti. Pittito Tito Hoti Bhagavantam Vijaya Mano. When the Buddha explained this entire things, that there was one monk, Naga Samalu, he was sitting behind the Buddha, you know, and when he read that, when he heard this all things, that Accharyang, he said this Accharyang Bhante, Abhutang Bhante, it is marvelous, incredible Bhante, it is amazing. While I was listening this exposition of this teaching, my hair stood up. So, the goosebumps when it comes, the spikes comes from that. That it have. He asked, he asked from the Supreme Buddha, ko namo ayang bhante dhamma pariyayati. Bhante, what is this? We can say this teaching is. Supreme Buddha says, Tasmati hatang naga samal, imang dhamma pariyayan, lomahansa pariyayo tat pevanang dharayati. So Nagasal, okay, the Dhamma what I have taught, give the name of called hair rising discourse. So, means his hair has started to spike up. So for you, this teaching is with this name. This teaching's name is called Sihanādasutta. But Nagasalabante asked what I should understand, what name I should remember. So Buddha gave, okay, for you, this is the name, it is there. And after listening, Idamocha Bhagava Attamanayasmo Naga Samalu Bhagavatu Vasadangabhante. So this bhikkhu, after listening the Buddha's word, he was very delighted and very happy. So this is called the Mahāsīhanādasutta, and another name you can say to this discourse is Hell Rising Discourse. So this is the explanation. Read this sutta couple of times and you will see how the Supreme Buddha's enlightenment, how his teaching, it is a great marvel for us. And what experience what experience the Buddha teaches this entire path, we can understand here. Still, such a practices is happening today, and those practices is not taking anyone to anywhere. Only the Buddha's path, then it is clearly mentioned here that in this world, in the history books, is that whoever practiced the path of Buddha attained the enlightenment. And many other ascetics also vow for that, but the old habit does not go easily, So this still such a harsh practices is happening because of there is no teacher today, for them to teach them that this is the Dhamma. So understand this sutta, read couple of times. It's a marvelous discourses Buddha gave. So may this sutta, may this Mahāsīhanādasutta be helpful for all of us to develop the confidence on Supreme Buddha. May this sutta be give us the idea of the enlightenment. May this sutta be helpful for all of us to realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.